Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurwala, and in this video we will cover basically the illustration as well as test your knowledge of Ind AS 1113, that is fair value measurement in this, but there isn't any illustration in this, so we'll directly jump to test your knowledge. I see, so there isn't an illustration, so we'll proceed to test your knowledge directly. There are 5 test your knowledge. We'll try to cover all. First, an asset is sold in two different markets in different prices. An entity enters into a transaction in both the market and can assess the price in those market for the asset at the measurement date. So entity sold sells the asset in two different active markets. Okay, market A, the price is 26, transaction cost 3, transportation 2. In market B, the price is 25, transaction cost 1, and the transportation is 2. You are required to calculate the fair value of the assets if the asset A if the market A is the principal market, and second, fair value of the asset if none of the market is the principal market. It is much simple question. See, we'll see the solution. If the market A is the principal market, if the market A is the principal market for the asset, the market with the greater volume and the level of the activity of for the assets, the fair value of the asset would be measured using the price that would be received in the market. So it will be measured on the price that would be received in the market after taking into account the transportation cost. So what we will do is to price receivable less transportation 2 rupees of market A, we will get the fair value. In second situation, if neither of the market is a principal market, then if neither of the market is the principal market of an asset, the fair value of the asset would be measured using the most advantageous market. So how we'll get find out most advantageous market? The most advantageous market is the market that maximizes the amount that would be received to sell the assets after taking into account the transaction cost and transportation cost. What we will do is we'll prepare two columnar table, and we'll write price receivable, then less transaction cost less transportation cost. We'll get the fair value, which is the most advantageous, that is 22, market B. So we'll consider now market B as the primary market, since the entity would maximize the net amount that would be received for the asset in the market B. Is market B, that is 22. The fair value of the asset would be measured using the price in the market B. It will be measured for based on the see it will be the fair value of the asset would be measured using the price in the market B. Then fair value, price receivable 25. Now since we had selected market B as the primary market, not primary means the market for determining the fair value, so then we have to just deduct transportation cost and not transaction cost. So price receivable 25 minus transportation cost 2 will get 23 as the fair value of the asset. Then second is based on the concept of highest and the best used. I will just read and explain the concept. Company J acquire the land in the business combination. The land is currently developed for the industrial use as a factory site. Although the land current use is presumed to be its highest, so it is currently using it as an industrial use, and its current use has been considered as the highest and the best use unless the market or the other factor consider a different use. Company J consider the fact that nearby site have recently been developed for the residential use as a high rise apartment building. On the basis of that development and the recent on it should be ongoing and other changes to facility that other facility that development, company J consider that the land currently used as a factory site could be developed as a residential site, and the market participant could take into account the potential to develop the site for the residential use when pricing the land. So now it is considering for to measure means see what in first para ending they are given is the company J considers the fact that the nearby site has recently been developed for the residential. So now it has to be valued, fair value should be measured as per residential value on the basis of the development of the recent ongoing and other changes facilitated that the development entity J determines that the land currently used as a factory, the one which is currently used as a factory site, could be developed as a residential. Okay, so it could be developed as a residential, and that the market participant could take into account the potential to develop the site for the residential use when pricing the land. So it can take into account the market participant could take into account the take into account the the potential to develop the site as an residential use when pricing the land, determine the highest and the best use of the land. So what we have to do is, first what we have to measure the value as if it is used for the industrial purpose, that highest and best use. Then next we have to value uh, uh, on the highest and best use as per the residential, and we have to take whichever the amount which is higher. See, we'll go through the solution. The first, they have said the highest and the best use of the land is determined by comparing the following: the value of the land currently developed for the industrial use, and the second, the value of the land as a vacant site for industrial use. This both para, and then what they have said is the highest and the best use of the land could be highest and the best use of the land would be determined on the basis of the higher of these values, that is the value as per, and you, if it is used as industrial use, and the value of the vacant of the land as a vacant site for the residential use. So higher of both of these value. In the situation involving the real estate appraisal, the determination of the highest and the best used highest and best use might take into account the factors relating to the factory operation. So the value for the real estate appraisal, that will take into account the factory operations and its assets and liability as well. Okay, then illustration 3, that is test your knowledge 3. Now all the three are simple. It is calculation based. I will just simply explain the question and we'll quickly go through the answer. ABC Limited has acquired 5% of the shares of XYZ Limited for 10 crore rupees in the financial year 1-2. The company is in the process of preparing the financial statement for the year 2-3 and is assessing the fair value at a subsequent measurement date, and it is assessing also the fair value at a subsequent date of the investment made in XYZ Limited. Based on the observable input, ABC Limited identifies a similar nature of the transaction in which the observable input in which similar nature of the transaction in which the PQI Limited has acquired 20% of equity share in XYZ Limited for 60 crore. The price of such was determined on the basis of the comparable company method, CCM, that is enterprise value divided by EBITDA, which was 8. For the current year, EBITDA is 40. So what we will do is, we'll on the basis of the observable input, that is the similar transaction in the market, how to calculate the values, simply, that is, what we'll do, first take EBITDA 40 divided 40 multiply by the comparable company, multiply by EVA, sorry, EV divided by EBITDA, that is 8. So 40 into 320, 40 into 8 320, that will be the enterprise value, and then that 320 multiplied by 5%, because ABC Limited has acquired 5%, and then ABC Limited has acquired 5%, so it will amount to see, first we'll take EBITDA, then multiply by 8, 320, then enterprise value 320. ABC share was 5%, 16, less liquidity and discount and non-controlling stake discount. See, the same has been given in the question as well. At the time of an last third line, at the time of an acquisition, the valuation was determined after considering 5% liquidity and 5% non-controlling stake, and then we'll get the fair value. So simply 5 means 10%, just deduct 10% from 16 means 1.6, and then we'll get the fair value of ABC's investment in XYZ Limited, that is 14.4. Then illustration 4. UK Limited is in the process of acquisition of the share of PQ Limited as a part of the business reorganization. So I will just quickly and not read the entire question but quickly explain. We have to calculate the fair value in this basically. So we will write the cash flows, we'll write termination value, multiply with by the discounting factor, that is 11%. We'll get the total value of the company's that is company's fair value will get on the base of the cash flows. Then deduct the debt component, that is 1650, and add the cash and cash equivalent, that is 1061.14, and then and then just divide by the total number of the shares which has been given, that is the 85284,223, and we will simply get the value per share, that is price value per share, that is fair value per share. See, the same has been done in illustration 4, that is cash flow has been taken, discounted free cash flows available of the firm, less debt, add cash divided by number of share. The same concept has been applied in illustration number 5. I will explain in short this as well. That is, what they have given is the market value has been calculated based on the market based approach and income based approach both, that is equal weight has been assigned to both of them. So what we'll do is 5268.2 into 50%, 3235.2 into 50%. So we'll get a value of the firm. Then simply deduct the debt obligation, that is 1465, deduct, and add cash and cash equivalent, add the surplus of assets and the liability, then you will get the fair value of the company, and then divided by the number of the share you will get the fair value of the fair value per share. See, the market based approach 50% weight of that, income based approach 50% of 3235, you will get the enterprise value as 4251, deduct that, less add cash, add surplus of assets and liability, you will get the enterprise value divided by number of the share, we will get the value per share. It will be the fair value of value per share. So we are done with Ind AS 113 all illustrations, that is all testing knowledge from the ICAI module. Thank you for watching the video.